Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to talk briefly about Min Min since she released not too long ago, and I wanted to kind of talk about if I think she's good or not, right? So let's get on with it. So, is Min Min good? And I feel like that's what everyone wants to know, right? Because not really many people care too much about ARMS. I'm one of the few who actually did play ARMS. I have about 80 hours on it. But I think most people just want to know, is Min Min good? And I think the answer is she's meh. She's mid. She really is mid. And the main reason for that really boils down to how much do you enjoy zoning the opponent? How much do you really enjoy doing that? Because I feel that that's all Min Min's going to do. As far as I'm aware, she doesn't really have any true combos. I mean, she does, but it's very few and far between, and nothing that will really give you any massive advantages. The best you can do with Min Min is zone and edge guard. Maybe ledge trap as well. But there hasn't really been many situations where I feel the character excels in any situation. I don't think she's a very flexible character. I think Min Min is a character that needs to kind of stick to very specific play styles for her to do well. And does she do that playstyle well, I guess would be the follow-up question. And the good news is yes. I think if you're actually on point with your zoning, and if the other player isn't really reading you that well, I think you can actually get a good amount of wins. She does have a lot of range, regardless if she's in the air or not. Maybe the one thing she lacks is being able to attack upward in a good, consistent range. But other than that, if you're behind her, if you're in front of her, you're most likely in range to get hit. Like that, I'll just leave it at that. The good news is that if you play a character who's pretty fast, you can get in there pretty easily, and Min Min can get punished pretty badly. Even her recovery options are just not that good. I don't feel like she's a character that won't get edge guarded. Like, I think she's one of the easier characters to edge guard herself, which is ironic considering her strengths. And usually when a new character releases, I like to give some time and just look at what people are figuring out on Twitter to try to get a better idea as to the character. Because I felt like I didn't really see any crazy shenanigans with Byleth when Byleth first released. And then people found out that weird 0 to death with Donkey Kong. Mind you, that only really works on Donkey Kong, and that doesn't really mean that the character is good by any means, because I don't really think Byleth is all that great either. But, you know, sometimes people figure things out. I remember some of the Terry Bogard combos when he first released was kind of crazy, right? And Twitter combos is a whole other thing. I'm not even going to go into why Twitter combos are kind of fraudulent. Like, they aren't combos that really necessarily matter. However, I think that they are good in just seeing the potential of a character and seeing if we can, you know, figure some things out. And Min Min, specifically, I don't think I've ever really seen a single thing that looked kind of saucy. And by saucy, I mean, like, good. I don't think I've ever seen anything from anyone where Min Min looked kind of crazy. And I think that's okay. You know, some characters are just going to benefit greatly from very specific playstyles, and I think Min Min is one of those characters. If you are someone who enjoys playing Byleth, the Belmonts, or someone, maybe even Little Mac to a certain extent, you might like Min Min, right? But for many people, they enjoy playing Joker, Pikachu, Palutena, characters with a lot of speed, mobility, and options regardless of the situation they find themselves in. You're probably not going to have as much fun with Min Min then. Now, that being said, the question definitely is, like, is she good at zoning? And yeah, you know, she has a lot of very strong moves, and the range she has kind of applies regardless if you're in the air or not. You know, like, it doesn't really matter. You're going to hit them and hit them hard, right? So especially with the Megawatt, her down B move that essentially is just a super powerful smash attack that kills super early. It's weird, but I find no one ever gets hit by that move. And I think people kind of, when they see the Megawatt equipped on Min Min, they just kind of know not to fall into it, and they play neutral a little more safely. And Megawatt is so slow and has to come from so deep that it's pretty easy to react to. Maybe on Wi-Fi that'll be a whole different story, right? Because I did get some time locally with Min Min to kind of get a good idea of how I feel about the character. Played Min Min in a couple of quick play stuff, a couple of online tournaments, you know, that sort of thing. And she seems okay. I don't think she's awful, but she's good at zoning, and I'll give her that. And I think her aerials are limited to an extent. Now, I'm not gonna say to the extent of Little Mac. She's not Little Mac, right? And her aerials forward and back are pretty good, considering they also have a lot of range, just like her tilts, basically, because it uses the arms just as much as they do. And I like that you can use the Dragon Blast thing to get even more range on top of that, even while you're using the air version of it. So I think that's pretty cool. I like that. I think that's a pretty interesting thing to have for a Smash character. However, because she doesn't really have much moves that go above her, I feel like the only thing you have is up smash and up tilt. And that's not, you know, it's not exactly the equivalent of shooting an arm, right? So the range is significantly shorter. So it feels like you're gonna have a hard time fighting Min Min if you forget the jump button exists. But if you remember that, you'll be fine. I think most Min Min battles, as long as you play a good character who can keep up and get in there and jump over her and all that good stuff, you're probably gonna be fine. I think Little Max might have a lot of trouble. I haven't played a Little Mac as Min Min yet, and I haven't, you know, had the opposite end either, but I can't imagine Mac doing too well, you know, having a good time fighting a Min Min. And I feel like her up air basically is just Terry Bogart's up air, except there's no real combos with her, which is weird because, like, I thought her grab would give her some kind of confirm out of it. Like, I don't know, maybe it would be up air out of down throw or something like that. Nothing. Like, she has a good looking grab because it goes pretty far. You can't do anything with it. All it really does, I believe, is make your dragon arm like stronger with the blast. But other than that, it doesn't really do anything. And it feels weird to have such a good looking grab that does nothing. I think at most what it can do is if you have somebody at like very high percentage, back throw does kill. I've seen that happen. But they have to be like very high. Like, it's not like, you know, a percentage that people should be living in. You know, like if you are playing Min Min and somebody lives to like 180%, like you did something wrong. Basically, like, you're not getting the kill you should be getting by that point. The other thing too is her down air is interesting because you can move pretty quick. There's a hitbox when you land, there's a hitbox on the way down, and at the very beginning of the move, it is a spike. And here's the thing, that spike, unless you have a stock lead, is kind of useless. I'll just say that right now, it's kind of useless unless you have a stock lead. If you have a stock lead, you can kind of do some kind of saucy shit with it every once in a while, because the problem with that move as a spike is that because it sends her down, even people at high percentage dies after she does. Like, she usually dies first. Min Min usually dies first when you use that move. So if you're like both last stock and you think you can get the spike, even if you land it, chances are you lost the game. So it kind of just sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a very good move. It's good if you want to kind of get them off you, if they're following you in the air and they're below you and you want to hurry up or whatever. Yeah, it gets them off usually, unless they read it or something, but for the most part, as a spike, it ain't all that, to be honest. You can't really use it unless you have a stock lead. If they're like on their last stock and you have like 2 to 3 stocks left, then yeah, you can do that and win the game with that. I've done it myself a few times, and it's always fun to do it because it's kind of satisfying to hit a move that I think is mostly useless. But if you can do it, then do it. You know, it could be fun. It could be pretty funny. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about the character. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Shifty, yeah, Shifty, wanna be the #1 gamer, come and get me. It'd be dope if you subscribe, could you like the vid, please? Take your time, you don't gotta do it swiftly. Shifty, Shifty, wanna be the #1 gamer, come and get me.